What if I told you a teacher turned his students into followers in less than a week? In just 5 days, a normal classroom turned into something dangerous. Students stopped questioning, started obeying, and no one realized how far it had gone. We like to think we are immune to tyranny. We look at history books and ask, how did they let it happen? But in 1967, at Cubberley High School in California, history didn't just repeat itself, it was engineered. Today, on EDITH Mind, we deconstruct the third wave. A social experiment that proved you don't need an army to start a movement. You only need a sense of belonging and a set of rules. It started with a simple question from a student. How could the German citizens claim they knew nothing about the Holocaust? Ron Jones, a popular and charismatic history teacher, couldn't give a verbal answer that sufficed. So, he decided to give them an experience. On Monday, the vibe was casual. It was just a history class. Jones introduced a simple concept, strength through discipline. He made them sit in a specific way, feet flat, back straight, hands folded. He drilled them. Speak only when spoken to. Start every sentence with Mr. Jones. To the students, it was a game. It was fun. It felt like a challenge. But notice the shift. The atmosphere was no longer about learning. It was about efficiency. The individual was starting to fade. Tuesday, the game turned into a movement. Jones introduced strength through community. He gave the movement a name, the third wave. He told them the third wave is the strongest in the ocean. He created a salute, a cupped hand near the shoulder. Look at their faces now. The smiles are gone. They are replaced by a strange, focused intensity. Jones saw something terrifying. These smart students, the ones who usually questioned everything, were the first to embrace the rules. Why? Because the rules provided certainty. In a chaotic world, the human brain craves structure. By giving them a salute and a name, Jones gave them an identity. They weren't just students anymore. They were members. Wednesday, the experiment grew legs and started walking on its own. It was no longer confined to one classroom. Students from other classes started cutting their own lessons to join the third wave. Membership cards were issued. Jones assigned secret police to report any member who didn't follow the rules or criticize the movement. This is where the tension peaks. Friendships ended in hours. If you didn't salute, you were shunned. If you questioned the logic, you were a traitor. The students weren't being forced by Jones anymore. They were forcing each other. The transition, they stopped being individuals. They became a single, multi-headed organism. They became blind. Thursday, the wave had over 200 members. This strength through action phase began. Jones told them they were part of a nationwide movement. That on Friday, a national leader would appear on TV to announce the third wave as a legitimate political party. The air in the school was thick with paranoia. Non-members were bullied. Outsiders were seen as inferior. Remember the robber's cave? The mechanics are identical. Once you define us, you automatically create a them that must be defeated. The students were ready to do anything Jones asked. If he had told them to burn books, they would have. If he had told them to arrest their peers, they would have. In 4 days, the good kids had become a lynch mob. Friday, the climax. Hundreds of students stood in perfect formation, saluting a blank TV screen. They were waiting for their leader. Minutes passed. Static. Nothing. Then, Ron Jones walked onto the stage. He turned on a projector. Images of the Third Reich filled the screen. Nuremberg rallies. Concentration camps. He looked at them and said, "There is no national leader. You were the ones who became the followers. You were the ones who gave up your freedom for the pride of being better than others." Why did it happen so fast? 1. Obedience to authority. We are evolved to follow a confident leader, especially in an institutional setting like a school. 2. Normative conformity. No one wanted to be the first to stop saluting. The fear of social death is stronger than the fear of moral failure. 3. Diffusion of responsibility. When everyone is part of the wave, no one feels personally responsible for the bullying or the fanaticism. The core message of Ron Jones was simple but haunting. People don't become followers slowly. They become followers before they even realize it. We look at the third wave and think, that was the 60s. We are smarter now. But the mechanics of the wave are built into your DNA. The need for discipline, the desire for community, And the thrill of action are the very things that make us human, and the very things that make us dangerous. The next wave won't look like a 1960s classroom. It will look like an app, a hashtag, or a safe community. Freedom is a muscle. If you don't use it to question, it will atrophy. Never stop questioning. Never stop being an individual. If you felt a chill down your spine, you understood the lesson. Share this with someone who needs to wake up. Subscribe to EDITH Mind. Stay independent. Stay intelligent.